Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, What the Beck. Today's video is going to be very lazy, very cozy, because I procrastinated making a video for this Monday. So we're just gonna knit a hat and we're gonna just talk and do a little update because a lot of my videos recently have been tutorials, and that's awesome and that's great, but it's not the best for, like, you know, talking to you. So I'm gonna just do that. So basically, just to explain my project real quick, I'm just doing a simple hat with like knit one, purl one, and this is some wool yarn that I dyed in my dyeing video forever ago. I really want to dye more yarn soon, but I haven't yet. And it's kind of, I won't say it's scratchy, but it's like coarser than like sweater yarn, and it's a little thick, so I figured a hat would be the best way to use it. And I am just working on that. Oh, it looks like my needle's been unscrewing itself, so I gotta put that back on. But yeah, I wanted to kind of like shift to making stuff out of wool for my shop. Not like entirely, but just like to have some nicer options for people who don't want like acrylic stuff, because for plushies and like that type of stuff, home decor, acrylic is pretty good because it's like washable and stuff. But yeah, I have a lot of wool now because I was able to find a bunch at like secondhand stores and like creative reuse stores and stuff like that. So I'm like, why not make stuff? Because honestly, I have so much wool that like it's not I'm not gonna make myself something with every single ball of wool that I have. So I'm making what I call like artisan pieces for my shop, and they're gonna cost a little more than the like acrylic versions because it's nicer materials, but they're also gonna like keep you warm and have all the like good properties of wool. But yeah, I'm also considering doing some like mini cables in this hat once I get past the like main ribbing part, because I was gonna follow a pattern, but I thought that the like stitch pattern, it was like a cable hat, and I thought it might get lost in here. But then I was thinking, well, what if I like do just like basically a 4-stitch cable where I just like cross 2 over 2 every few rows, and see how that turns out. So I might try that, I might not. But yeah, just like a little update since my January video, or like everything that I made in January. I've still been working on decreasing my WIP pile to the point that it is no longer entirely covering that whole table that it was on in that video. I finished a bunch of blankets. I finished a bunch of hats that weren't in that video, but they were like centro tubes that I just needed to like tie together to make hats. And I have like a whole big donate pile ready to go. I'm just waiting on the like charity, or it's like an organization. I'm waiting on them to get back to me and see if they can accept those, or if I want to find a different place to donate them. So yeah, I finished, except for buttons, my green cardigan. I kind of like totally went rogue with the pattern, because once I was making the front, I was following the instructions the way that it said, like decreasing every 3 rows to make the inner like area of the front panel, and it got to the height of the back panel way before it said it would. So I just decided that instead of doing that like saddle shoulder feature, I was just gonna sew, like bind off the front piece where it was, where I had got it to, and then sew that to the back, make the other front piece identical to that one, sew that on, and then I did the same stitch pattern and like cast on as the regular sleeve, but I kind of about halfway through was like, okay, I'm just gonna like keep increasing until it's as wide as the like armhole needs to be, and then I did some shaping so that it would fit into that hole nicely, and then I kind of like rounded off the top, kind of like a normal shoulder, honestly, because I don't understand what the deal was with the saddle shoulder design, but it was like part of the sleeve, it was like a strip that came up to here, and then the front would attach to one side and the back would attach to the other side, but like it was gonna be way too big and like long, so I decided not to do that. But I also have been trying to like reorganize my craft room. I did want to make a video of that, but honestly I just do it in short bursts, and I don't want to like keep a bunch of really short clips on my phone to have to put together later. But I've been trying to like reorganize stuff so that I can get to it when I want to get to it, and like, I don't know, it seems like the layout that I had, like, well, definitely once we got Teddy, it was kind of like defunct, and I haven't really been up there that much because that was Teddy's like solitary room while he and Baby were getting to know each other, which they do know each other now. They're not besties, but they're like fine. So he's out and about in the house now, but ever since then, that room was kind of like difficult to use because obviously it had some cat stuff in there, but then I was also realizing like, hey, the amount that I use certain supplies is not like matching up with where they're stored in the room. So I want to like basically reorganize the stuff based on how often I use it. And yes, some drawers and like cubbies are harder to get to than others. And in a perfect world, I would have a room that's like slightly bigger, that I could have a whole separate table and there wouldn't be an issue getting to the cubbies. But that's just not the world that I live in right now. So what I decided to do, and I can actually show you a picture of this, is I brought my spinning stuff downstairs because that is where I spin. I don't really ever spin upstairs. Even if I was going to be doing like drop spindle, I'd probably be watching TV. So I figured I would bring the spinning stuff down here. So all of my big cubes that were in my white cube cabinet thing upstairs have now been brought down here, and they have my fiber in them. One of them is stuffed with cotton yarn. Actually, I think two of them have cotton yarn in it. And I might relocate the cotton upstairs again, maybe into one of the drawer systems. But for now, it's fine. I just wanted to get those cubbies out of that upstairs unit and into this one down here. And now there's a bunch of room up there. Because the things that were in that unit before were like gardening supplies and some like books and stuff. So I like put the books into a box because I'm not gonna like often pick up my old like planners and stuff to read them, but I put those in a box into storage, and then I decided to put that spinning stuff in there. So now I'm like, okay, so how do I go about storing the things upstairs, especially the yarn, because we all know I use yarn the most often, but also the sewing stuff because I have a lot of fabric and I want to like make a point to use it. Especially to like make stuff to donate, like dog beds and blankets and stuff. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make that white unit mainly fabric, because then it won't have like a cube that I have to like pull out to get into, which is how it was with the yarn. It'll just be like, oh, okay, I can grab a fabric and finagle it out because it's a soft article and it'll like be able to be pulled out decently easily. And then the stuff that, well, it's basically still fabric, but there's fabric in the little cubbies that hold the tabletop up. I'm gonna move that into that big unit and put my jewelry making stuff and beads and other things into those like table side units. so that they're accessible, but I don't use them that often, so like it's still not in the way, you know. And then my bookshelf, I'm thinking I'll end up leaving the regular like acrylic yarn on the bookshelf if it's in a full skein, but then I might put some like boxes or cubes into the bookshelf with the cakes, because I've been doing very well and drastically reducing the number of like acrylic cakes and stuff that I have. However, my scrap bins are now overflowing again, so I might do another session of making scrappy cakes, or just like make some scrap projects. Which, by the way, if you have ideas for what you want me to make with my scraps, tell me, and maybe I'll do like a video of that. But yeah, I'm thinking also that I have like 2 drawer units that are clear and 2 that are opaque, and the one opaque one is purely fursuit making stuff. I'm not going to change that one, but the other is wool, and it's right under my wool like wall unit, I guess, of like the cakes that hang on the wall. And it kind of makes sense for it to be there, but I feel like it's so stuffed that I never go in it. So what I might do is go in that, take the wool yarn out, put it into the clear units, and then with the acrylic that's currently in the clear units, I'll put some in that opaque one, and some I'll probably either donate or like really like get some like scrap projects done, maybe some more Centro hats, or I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another blanket anytime soon. Maybe if it's a granny square blanket, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was all my rambling I have for today. I hope you enjoyed just hanging out for a little bit with me. And yep, I'm gonna go film my tutorial for this week because the Sparkle Dog Soiree Cal is still going on. You can still join. You don't have to keep up with any specific schedule or anything. But yeah, I need to teach you how to make that spiky granny square. So if you're interested in that, just stick around till Thursday and you will see how to make that square. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.